Hi everyone, welcome to the Movie Section Show. My name is Fariba, and tonight we're about to watch the second episode of Lanterns, which of course is getting a lot of buzz right now. If you're not aware, in like the last couple of days or so, there was a report that the show actually became one of the biggest shows on HBO. So huge deal right there. But it makes sense, right? Because when you watch the first episode, it's not like your typical DC series. I mean, the first thing right off the bat, you're thinking, oh, this is giving off a lot of True Detective vibes. But even that being the case, the dynamic seems really solid between Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre. We kind of had a really good exposition of what's going on, and yet, I was still trying to be cautiously optimistic just because, I'm not too familiar with Green Lantern. Yes, I know kind of like the basic gist of like the whole ring and how that mantle gets carried on, but this is like James Gunn's era, right? We don't know how he plans on portraying this type of character, or at least specifically for those who are involved with this show. And so yeah, I mean, hopefully my hopes right now is that the second episode will carry on the energy that we've gotten so far from the first one. And yes, it's going a little slow, but that's very expected for something like this where it's very murder mystery vibe. Like the first thing that comes up to mind, of course, is Mayor of Easttown. Of course, the style is very similar to True Detective. And so because of that, I'm really keeping my my mind open. I'm also being very cautious, being aware of the fact that this is going to be a very slow show. But my hopes are that within the next few episodes, we start to really get a little bit more into the gist of the story and really start to unravel the juicy bits of what's going on, especially with what happened in the last episode. We saw that eventually it was how Jordan dies, but that's with the fact that he doesn't have the ring with him, right? That was a big twist. So yeah, I don't want to wait any longer. So without further ado, let's get right down into watching episode 2 of Lanterns. It's 2016.
What the fuck?
It's time to get up, Junior.
What did the Guardians say?
Oh, yeah, I'm not calling the Guardians.
Then what the fuck are you doing here, Hal?
I'm training you.
Oh, so he's not calling the Guardians, eh?
Take your time.
What the fuck are we doing,
What
Jordan?
are you talking about? You've been busting my balls for a month to learn how to fly. Today's the day you're gonna learn.
We got a case to do.
Jesus Christ.
Oh. Of course he did.
Back up a little bit.
The nerves. Oh, he's looking constipated.
What the fuck is that?
So he just got a bird that flies.
Sir.
So he created his own pet?
Is there a problem?
Just gotta hit it flush.
Ring charge 5%.
All right. New flight plan.
The ring has a
Look
charger.
your window.
I don't understand. Wait, so what would you have done if I could fly?
Well, you didn't fly, did you? So it doesn't really matter. Now get yourself ready. I
But-
need that lantern.
The ring didn't have power.
Oh,
Or at least enough power.
don't fail.
I've
And what are
seen
you gonna be
something like
doing?
this before.
Enjoying not answering your questions.
So the detector's not working. I think the ring seems to be fine when he's wearing it.
There you are.
This ring will soon run out of charge.
Oh wait, never mind. I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon.
I think we have to really take that on.
Carry on.
I think that's what we're trying to figure
Good
out.
news.
Got the judge to drop your assault charges.
Well, I
Well,
appreciate
there you
that.
go.
How much is it gonna cost me?
Oh no, it's on the house.
On the house.
Good news is you're free to go back to my well-being and apparently my travel schedule. We are still talking with attorney-client privilege, I presume.
Excuse me, honey?
Yes.
I was talking to my husband.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna need Mr. Jordan to leave.
He started it.
I've got about 30 seconds of patience left.
I only need 40.
And I'll be happy.
How long is that gonna take?
It'll take as long as it takes.
Yeah, I don't think I can keep quiet that long. Look under the rock.
Which
There's like
rock?
so
How?
many
To
rocks.
the left of the door under the bush. On.
I wonder why.
Kinda makes me feel like I need to stick around.
It would make you think that. Do lanterns get paid anyway?
Not enough. I can tell you that.
Well,
Really?
your house begs to differ.
I got
Oh,
the
is
house
he trying
from
to get
a
the
rich
autopsy?
guy. Saved his kid. His dad felt like shit because he couldn't help. I didn't want to emasculate him.
Oh, those are the suits. Oh, look at him fantasizing, guys.
I see the bar.
It's like a little lantern. It's shaped like a lantern. Is that Earl?
The hell is wrong with you?
Oh my god, this is... If someone were to see this right now in daylight. Oh. Huh.
Where are we going? Where's my fucking bird?
Bird's safe.
Oh. Why was he running like a banshee? I hope that their bird is okay. Oh no, that's not gonna look good. That's not gonna look good. Oh, yeah.
Is this about me not being on the insurance? It is pretty much exactly.
It's actually an alien detector.
Let me rephrase. You obviously realize exactly what's going on here.
Yes.
Congratulations. You've caught up to me. It's not against the law to be obsessed with aliens. Trust me, I wish it was. It'd make my marriage a hell of a lot smoother.
Your marriage is unsmooth?
The fact is, Macon hasn't done anything illegal. It is not gonna go well.
What side are you on?
Yeah, that's a big question mark.
Hey, Carrie. You know I'm a fan of your work, but I confess I'm confused as to why you're still in town. 4 aliens are dead, their accomplice blew himself up, and yet you link. But your work here's done.
Oh, I just need a minute of your time.
I believe you've had it.
Ooh.
Front gate, 11 o'clock.
Be threatened? I
Yes.
got 4 dead bodies in my car that set off the hidden camera and alarm when I drag them through those metal detectors. An NDA? Hell, even that other guy, he was selling cigarettes to kids, and he still didn't let those lawyers stop him from saying whatever the hell he wanted. I want to know what
Yes,
other
I know what the
technology you
Marlboro
got in
is.
this compound. Well, you can't do that. Can he do that?
He can
Apparently, he can't do that.
For Christ's sake, I got the ring. You try to shoot me, and I'm just gonna put up.
Yikes.
Yeah.
At least the bird is
May I ask you
okay.
a question about the bird, John Stewart?
Sure.
You're not wearing a ring.
Did you tie me up to ask me questions about my fucking bird?
No, I tied you up to ask you about manhunters.
That sounds familiar.
Oh, we don't want to torture you, John. We want to recruit you.
You
Interesting.
don't tell some.
And able to build new bodies, which meant they could take the form of any species and embed undetected within any society.
Isn't
This
that
ability to
what The
build allowed
Watchmen
them
was
to
about?
invent technologies far beyond the limits of the planets they inhabited. They were on our planet, passing as one of us, while he quietly engineered a Holocaust. Have you ever been deceived by someone you love?
Yeah.
Then you'll understand when you experience.
Are you implying something?
This is what it looks like when a manhunter destroys your people. John, do you see what it feels like?
Lord. Lordy, Lord.
Turn took the monster into his custody and guaranteed he'd be executed.
Why?
What's with Sinestro?
Oh.
Why are you asking me that?
I'm assuming you were dreaming
You
about him.
kept saying his name in your sleep.
Yeah.
I'm not
The
authorized.
Lantern attempted a coup, killed one of the bosses.
Ooh.
It also
I'm sure he's gonna keep that promise.
And for the record, I'm not on your side. I'm not on Macon's side. I'm on my side. I'm trying to hold this town together. I apologize for trying to obstruct you. I just didn't want Billy's dad insurrecting the shit out of everyone and getting them all paranoid about invasion.
Ah.
So much for that
That's a fair
plan.
point.
This place is losing its mind. You kicking up dust and getting shot isn't helping. If I
10 years
need
later,
you,
right?
I can call.
Interesting.
I'm from Gotham. Moved here on a whim.
That sounds like a story. Heard a few of them. Where are all the patients?
It's a small town, not exactly a big patient pool.
Are we sure about that?
Half
That
the
seems
equipment
very
looks like it was
odd.
just taken out of the crate.
That's odd. Oh, it's the grandma.
Small town, bound to happen. Well, I'm glad you didn't know.
Relationship unconventional.
That's quite question.
You met my husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you?
I
Just
don't
'cause you
think
see
you
her.
would do anything without thinking about it first. You know?
White men have the privilege of being. Hey, how's your white man?
How is he?
Then you already know the answer.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you already have those doubts.
Told you not to bring the suit.
Oh, you brought
Yeah,
the
well,
shoot.
maybe I couldn't bring myself to just disrespect it.
Hey, you might want to, check the fine print on that insurance policy.
What the hell's all over the seats?
I believe, technically they call that alien goo.
Oh, yeah. he's not happy. He is really peace deep.
You tell the Guardians any of this?
I report to you.
Hey,
What?
Bruh. Oh, he's wearing the suit. He's wearing the super suit. What in the world is that? Oh, it's this guy. Sinestro or something?
Sinestro. Second greatest threat you're currently facing. So why don't you tell me about Jon Stewart?
So that was the second episode of Lanterns, and I have to say we're really progressing in terms of unraveling the mystery, and not only that, but then bringing new players. So, and one thing I will say is that this is a much faster episode. I think, the first episode I was talking about how it was a little bit more slow burn. This one, the pacing definitely sped up by a lot because one, Hal is really getting deep into the investigation, trying to understand, what's going on. Even though the guy that he already clocked was the alien in the last episode, there's still something that's not right. And I think now we're starting to get the gist of what's happening, why they're still in Nebraska or Rushfield in this case, why eventually 10 years later, after the events of what we're seeing, the main event of 2016, why in 10 years from now, we're going to eventually see Hal Jordan himself lose his life, and as well as the ring, right? And I remember last week, I remember last week, when we were talking about the matter, I kept asking, okay, I was like, okay, but isn't there supposed to be just one Green Lantern with the ring? And if it's not Jon Stewart, then wouldn't it be Guy Gardner? Because we eventually do see that Guy Gardner becomes the Green Lantern in the Superman movie, right? And then of course he's gonna be back in the next film, and we know that Aaron Pierre is gonna be in the movie, and so it makes me wonder if at some point we're gonna see Guy Gardner in this series, that he eventually inherits it. Like, it makes me wonder if we get to a point where Jon Stewart decides that he doesn't want to become the Green Lantern, maybe because of everything that unravels in terms of being one. And I think we kind of have a hint of what's happening here, and we'll talk about it in a bit. But my guess is that at some point Jon Stewart decides like he doesn't want to become the Green Lantern anymore, even though he himself was personally chosen, and that eventually somehow Guy Gardner comes in, maybe, and then that's when we see Guy Gardner becomes a Green Lantern, etc. And that's where we get to the events of 2026. That's kind of my prediction. That's kind of what I'm getting the gist of. Tell me if I'm wrong, but that being the case, we're kind of ready. If my theory is correct, right? If I'm getting the whole gist of what's going to end up being the case as they unravel this case, is at some point, because we already see that Hal Jordan isn't as enthusiastic about his role as a Green Lantern the way that he was 10 years ago. And I think the first episode really clocked that, where we see the conscience of Hal Jordan from long ago, like when he said where he said that message was not as sarcastic and whatever, in a way that we saw with Hal now in 2016. And it makes me wonder if a lot of it has to do with the whole Rushfield thing. We're seeing Sinestro for the first time, which I was kind of surprised that we're seeing him this soon. But maybe that could also unravel like a similar case of what's going to happen with Jon Stewart, that perhaps he loses his faith in becoming Green Lantern, and therefore that's why we don't see him with the ring by the time it ends up being 2026. I think there's a lot of questions with regards to that, but even that being the case, it seems as though that there's still a lot more to unravel with the situation now that there seems to kind of be another mystery, which is the Manhunters, which I almost thought it was I almost got it confused with Dr. Manhattan for a little bit, and I was like, okay, it's not Dr. Manhattan, I think it's something else. So, but that being the case, that seems to kind of be the key to what's happening all around, because we know the lawyer's father is very sus. Like, there's something with his benefactor that could be the key to why the whole town is very mysterious. Why, for some reason, there seems to be, like a like a security the security thing where it somehow is detecting aliens but wasn't detecting like metal detector. So the metal detector wasn't detecting metal, but it was detecting aliens, right? And then the fact that the father-in-law himself isn't allowed, had to get Hal shot, right? Because like he's like, oh well, you're done because everything else has been circled around, right? Only to see that Hal gets shot. So there is definitely something lingering in the city, or in in the area, that needs to be resolved. And now that the fact that there's a whole situation with the Manhunter, I think we're starting to kind of unravel a little bit more. I think this is what's so great about these kinds of series, right? I mean, yes, this is technically a DC series. It's like an extension of what's gonna be James Gunn's vision of the DCU era that we are in now. But at the same time, like, you can see how this series also has its footprint, even has its own essence of like a typical murder mystery. Like, as I said, Mary Easttown, I think a great example being True Detective, where they're just slowly taking time to unravel the mystery and the case, and then eventually leading up to kind of like the big thing, right? The big answer, some of the questions being resolved. And again, I mean, here's the thing, like, I think this was a lot more sped up in terms of the pacing. We're still trying to get the gist of the story, which is kind of why I'm like, okay, I'm not totally off by any of this. Like, I know slow pacings, it's always going to be a thing with these kinds of series, and that actually works out in the end for these kinds of settings. So even though we're only just kind of getting bits and pieces of the information, it's still very interesting to see where this is going to head off on, considering the fact that we got a lot of questions from the first episode, and now we're starting to really unpack what's happening. So I think it's a pretty solid episode. Again, not my favorite that I've seen in a long time, but that being the case, I just know that as we get into each and every episode, things will start unraveling. Things will start to kind of make a lot more sense. I know I had to take a little bit of time to understand like what is going on with the whole Manhunter thing, because that's like totally new for me. And as I said, I'm not the biggest DC person. I know a little bit more of Marvel than DC. So for me, just listening to all these characters, these enemies, these antagonists, etc., like these are all very new to me. I've never read the Green Lantern comic. I've never done a whole lot of research on the Green Lantern, so this is all fairly new to me, and yet it's like I wonder how this is going to become a bigger part of the universe, because again, we know that Aaron Pierre is going to be back as Jon Stewart in Man of Tomorrow. So, but yeah, I think that's all I have to say about tonight's episode. Again, a very solid one, not a whole lot to really dissect, other than the fact that there's definitely a lot of questions. We're still getting a lot of the questions coming in. We're not exactly getting to answers, at least not yet, but I feel like the answers are going to start coming in probably by around episode 4 and 5, if that's my guess. That's my guess right there, at least. But that being the case, I want to know your thoughts having seen tonight's episode. What do you think so far after watching tonight? If you're someone who is a DC fan, who is a lot more familiar with Green Lantern comics, or just DC comics in general, what do you think about some of the more new information that we've gotten so far, especially with Manhunter and seeing Sinestro show up tonight? On top of that, what do you think the direction the show is going? Do you think my theory, or is it even really a theory per se, but do you think what I have just theorize is probably what's going to be the lead up to this whole series by the time we get to the end of it? That being the case, how is this going to be impactful for the actual like overall universe? What does this mean for Jon Stewart? Heck, what does this mean for Guy Gardner, right? I think there's a whole bunch of questions with regards to what we saw at the end of last week's episode, and what this means in terms of this timeline right here. Let me know your thoughts below. Make sure to like and subscribe.